Putra. Welcome to this live. Um, as some of you all might have signed up for this event, it being branding for executive search, as mentioned at the outset in the comments. This that session is postponed to the same time next week, and in today's session, I instead will be taking you through approach to thought leadership and revenue generation on LinkedIn, some broad strategies and tactics. Before you know it, 30 minutes can go by quite quickly. So I'm going to jump straight into this. At any point in time, if you have any questions, just feel free to put them into the chat and let me know, if you have any specific questions about it, and I look to jump into the chat and address them. So with that said, I'm going to jump straight into the presentation. Right. So again, welcome to today's session. So one of the things with LinkedIn is that LinkedIn loves event and announcement posts. So use this as an opportunity to take screenshots, take photos, make notes in your book, photograph that page, highlight key learnings, note how you felt, and what does this now make available. And while you're going through the session, make some of those notes. Before you know it, your post at the end of the session is ready to then go out. Keep in mind to tag me on that. Would love to see what some of your takeaways were from this session. So briefly about me, I've been in the branding and design space for the last 20 odd years. I've run a branding and design, a successful B2B branding and design firm. I built an AI design automation tool. I was then head of marketing for 2 funded tech startups before jumping into this is creative AI, and specifically in this leadership branding focus early last year. So, but then that's credibility from the past, and been fortunate to be featured in a few different places. Over the next 28 minutes, my intent will be to build credibility with you through some of the stuff that I take you through. So why LinkedIn? What is its ROI? LinkedIn is your professional public square, right? Where a lot of your peers, a lot of customers, LinkedIn is the one platform that gets the maximum number of B2B leads directly, indirectly through this platform. Of course, it's one of the touch points in your entire customer journey, but it's a significant one, especially if you're in the B2B space. So 60% of decision makers are willing to pay a premium to individuals or companies who consistently produce thought leadership content. According to a survey by 2,500 CEOs across 30 countries, thought leadership delivered 156% ROI, 16 times that of traditional marketing. And employee shared content gets 8 times more engagement than brand shared content. So typically what we've also seen over the last, say, 15 odd years, right? There have been so many of these scandals, company scandals. And even today, we're not sure in this age of AI where these big tech titans are actually sort of taking us. So how they're behaving is actually giving us a deep insight into who they are. So people want to know, who is this person I'm going to work with? Who is this person I'm going to engage with? Who's this person who's going to be my client? Who's going to be my employee, etc. Right? So that's why company pages actually get a significantly less amount of traction compared to individual profile pages. 74% of brand loyalty comes after interacting with high quality content. 82% are more likely to buy from brands they know, and employee shared messages are reshared 24 times more than brand shared messages, right? People want to know, okay, this person shared this thing, I'll follow what he has to say. What those facts mean is that you have to say bye-bye to your comfort zone, because when you help someone through your insights, it gives you financial and social cha-ching, right? So let's just talk about the people and the platform. This is I split it up into 2 parts, this presentation. So I'm going to take you through a couple of different people who I think do a fantastic job of thought leadership on this particular platform. For example, we have Zoe Scammon. She is the founder and keynote speaker at Bodacious. Basically, she's a globally well-known brand strategist, brand thinker, has a fiercely independent and open voice, and she does not shy away from it at all. I mean, you just need to Google her. I mean, check out her profile on LinkedIn and see the post that she posted, I think just yesterday, where she was saying, if you don't like me posting for Palestine, tough. If you don't like my political position, tough. She's not here to be any less of herself. So the opportunity, therefore, what I'm pointing out over here is that the opportunity is that for you to share your true perspective, and share it boldly. It's not your it's a disservice almost if you're posting something just for likes and comments, or just for likes and engagement or impressions or number of followers, because you have something unique to share. Everybody does. And the opportunity on LinkedIn is probably the only platform that remains from the traditional social platforms that are 20 plus years old. LinkedIn is 20 plus years old, where you still have a massive opportunity. Only 3% of people globally, users on LinkedIn, post more than once a week. um, Eugene Healy, again in the branding space, this is someone who leads with video, right? Video is something that LinkedIn has been leaning into in a big way, as it also ironically happens in the last 5 6 months or so. Video reach has dropped a little bit. That said, it's still an opportunity for you to sort of lean into a media that you might be comfortable. For example, if you're very comfortable giving public speeches, you're very comfortable being on stage, you might have the great personality to be on video, right? Because people can gauge you. You're watching me on video right now. You can tell my body language. You can tell, how excited I am, generally talking about this, right? Because for me, fundamentally, I like talking about people. I like engaging with people. So anything that helps, and the way I look at it in some ways also in the work that I do in enabling leaders, senior professionals have clarity about their personal narrative. It's a little bit like talent management, right? And it so happened that I was head of marketing at a HR tech company. So take a clear position. If you are someone that has a clear voice, is someone who's comfortable on stage, video might be a great one to sort of look at. Anthony Perry, their company, Fletch actually, sorry, they only talk about messaging on website homepages, right? Positioning and homepage messaging. That's the only thing they talk about. What they do really well is that they have really well designed visuals. So don't underestimate the power of great visual presentation of your content as well. So having a clear visual brand. I saw a post earlier today that talked about Netflix's venture into sports. So Netflix has, I don't know, I think it's called Netflix Sport, but Netflix, if you recall, when you open the app, it has that clear visual sort of motion branding, right? And they've used motion branding in a big way. So that my point being that visual media and the way you use it can be a key differentiator. If you feel that, hey, everyone else is talking about what I'm saying, you could be saying similar things, but you could just be saying it visually very differently and therefore stand out, right? Give yourself whatever edge that you can. You do have a unique voice. Then you look at profiles like Pep Lahau, who's the CEO of Winter, again in the messaging sort of space, deep market research platforms. This one and the next one, which is Gallagher, the CEO of Aligned, these two gentlemen themselves have said that they're generating about 60 to 70% of their revenue just through their content posting on LinkedIn. Pep has said, when I stop posting and I not posting as regularly, the inbound drops, right? So my point is that it is possible to create an engine of your content to that level of maturity. And I'm saying, for example, Winter is generating somewhere north of 5 million ARR, and if you're saying it's 60% of that, that's about 3 million that they're generating just from his LinkedIn posting. But key thing is that you have to be in service of the customer. You have to be in service of whoever it is that you're talking to. The best way to think about it is you're talking to your best friend, right? And you really want to help them. Now, that's a bit of a perspective shift, and we'll come to that a little later. Uh, like I said, CEO of Aligned, Galaga. Do make note of all these profiles. They're definitely worth sort of checking out. And then, of course, Lenny Richowski, one of the best ones who talks about product. And each of these profiles, and that's why it's very important for you to have clarity on what your content calendar is going to be. Think of your, when I say content calendar, it's not enough to repost. So the things that you might be doing wrong right now is reposting just because you think that someone's going to see it. If you look at your feed on LinkedIn and you just sort of scroll through it, just check how many you see as reposts compared to the original posts, right? So even if your post only reposting, cumulatively the person who's on the other side, even if they have 500 connections, yours will be 1 in 10 that they might see, maybe once in a week or 10 days or something like that, right? So LinkedIn is going to deprioritize anything that if you're not creating original thought leadership content, LinkedIn is going to deprioritize that. So I mean, before like I said, this time goes by very quickly. This is a profile of a client that we have been working with for a while now. When we started, Mr. Agarwal had about 130 connections. Now he has about 2,500. More importantly, he is in the top 1% of thought leadership content for leadership content specifically. At the outset, he even shared with us that he's not very big on, I don't want to get sucked down this LinkedIn rabbit hole, right? Because as leaders, time is finite. You don't want any kind of distractions taking away from what you want to focus on. But you realize that this is a space that you need to be active in. So we actually leveraged an AI avatar. So his first maybe 2-3 months of content, about 60% of it was his AI avatar talking about, which is this one over here. Um, just him talking about his vision, his values, his life skills, that this framework that he'd created for the company. The company has been given a great place to work, a happiest place to work, many other certifications as well. So we've used a variety of different tools, right? So again, like I said, for different leaders, you might use text, video, audio, image, whatever it is that works best for you. So what's the measurable result when you're leaning into creating your own personal brand, right? And this applies to whether it's SaaS, dating, or politics. If you have great consumer opinions, you have more sales, more dates. You have customer loyalty, you have more number of referrals, you have more votes coming in, right? If there's greater media buzz, there's more leads generated. And all of this comes down to you putting your voice out there. Here's a thought. If Coca-Cola were to lose all of its production-related assets in a disaster, the company would survive. By contrast, if all consumers were to have a sudden lapse of memory and forget everything related to Coca-Cola, the company would go out of business. Agree? I'd love to know if some of this is resonating. If you have questions, drop a line in the chat. So, what is one thing you can talk about every day for the next 1 year? If you were to spend time talking about one thing every day for the next 1 year, just think about that. At the end of that 1 year, it's very, very likely that you would be at least amongst the top 2 or 3 people that others might think of when thinking of this particular topic. It could be gardening tools. It could be high ticket SaaS sales. It could be fitness equipment. But if you're talking about it consistently, not in a means to say, hey, buy my product, hey, look at these customer testimonies. There is something to be said for funnel based content also, right? You can't just be sharing stuff that, okay, this is my brochure. You are speaking to a specific individual. How are you making their life better? So cumulatively, then you get to be seen as this person leads with this thought, and I know, like, and trust them because of that. So functioning on LinkedIn and creating this content isn't an additional thing to do. You have to think about who are you being a hero to and what drives them. Who are you being a hero to? Why would they want to come and engage with your content day in, day out, almost every day for a year? And think about giving away your knowledge on LinkedIn. And I've written about this on a separate post, as if you're writing your book in public. That's the opportunity, really. and I know a lot of authors are actually doing this, where they're writing their book and they're putting out specific chapters, they're getting feedback, and that fine tunes it, that cumulatively becomes their book. It's the same thing that you're doing right now. Today, the approach to engagement and trust building on these digital platforms has shifted as, listen, I have nothing to hide. I'm going to share all my knowledge. Everything that I know, I'm going to share it. And inherently, in doing that, I'm confident in doing that. And I know that people will come to me anyway because I can deliver exponential value. Right? That's what I'm confident about. And I'm actually saying that about myself as well. So if you are that confident to put everything out there, it's very likely you will find clients who appreciate that. So, and therefore, in the content that you put, people will engage if there is quality, high quality in content and perceived effort. If you're just putting out a list that you've generated on ChatGPT, people can see that, right? They want to know, okay, you put this thing out about 10 sales techniques to sort of keep in mind. Pepper it with at least 2 or 3 different stories or anecdotes. Then people know, okay, this is this person's unique perspective. Otherwise, I can go to Google, I can go to ChatGPT, I can go to so many other places. And do it not for likes and follows. Focus on delivering disproportionate value so your message reaches thousands of people. So you shared something. Is that of service to them? Is that valuable for them right now? Have you cleared the bridge for them to take action? And if you're not sure where to start, just keep this in mind, this Miles framework, right? Which is money, intelligence and insight, location and luck, education and expertise, status. You have at least 1 or 2 of these things that are unique to you in your story that you can then talk about. I have 13 minutes, so I think so I'm going to pick up based on this. But what's important to you and why do you believe? Also, if you're interested in these slides, and I have a 3 page summary and a giveaway, which is a LinkedIn for Leaders playbook. I'm actually working on a 40 page LinkedIn for Leaders playbook. If you're interested in that, drop me a comment on this particular post or a question, or DM me and I'll send that across to you. So why do you believe this is important to share? What's the impact you like to create over 6 to 12 months? Who do you help? What do you help them achieve? How do you do that? This one, if you can answer this particular set of questions and put it in your your descriptor just below your profile photo, that will then show up every time you comment somewhere. Every time someone reposts something, that will show up. So then people associate that specific thing with you. About the platform, quickly going to run through some updates. The 2 sets of updates I have over here. One is from the LinkedIn algorithm report by Richard van der Bloem. I think he's coming out with the 2025 one later this month or next month. So, this is from about 6-8 months ago. At that point in time, text was doing really well, text and image. As LinkedIn, the you can use up to 3,000 characters, but often engagement that actually posts that actually get a lot more engagement are the ones that have maybe 50% of that real estate sort of used along with an image. Because when you're going through a news feed and you're scrolling through, text only doesn't always get seen as much unless your hook is really good. Your hook is and your hook also you want to keep to about 65 characters, one blank line, the next one which is 45 characters. So that almost acts as like a headline and sub-headline of an advertisement, right? It's an ad for people to want to then engage with the rest of the post, but it should also give them a complete insight into what the post is about. Polls are a great way to, if you're putting out content regularly, you find engagement. Polls are a great way to get an insight into what people are thinking, and then use that as a means to then create content based on the results. Right? It's not just about asking that specific question. I already mentioned something about video. As you can see, I'm leveraging video over here. One thing about timing and frequency, right? I also believe that mornings work best. So I try and post it on like Tuesdays, Thursdays, maybe sometimes Saturdays. My sweet spot when I post is usually about 11 o'clock in the morning. I know people who post at 9 sharp. I know people in the US who post at 6 in the morning because they know that people are waking up and they're just grabbing their phone, or they're going really early and they're already on the subway or somewhere else, right? So keep in mind, you're posting, keep in mind your ICP or whoever it is that you want for this individual to read the post, uh, when are they going to see it? So work backwards. If you're not sure about when you should be posting, the best thing that you can do is fix on a couple of days and a specific time and post on that same time on that particular day every week. Over a period of time, you will find that people start engaging with it because you will start showing up in their feed at a particular time. Like I said, there are a bunch of other format insights also. Again, I have a playbook that I'm happy to share if you like, comment, etc. Other things that we're also sort of seeing, um, in terms of the kind of engagement that you need to have with commenting. That's one big thing that can drive, the single biggest thing that can drive disproportionate value and spotlight onto your profile is your commenting. Essentially what you're doing is, if LinkedIn is your professional square, how much are you engaging with the people over there? Are you engaging with someone else? Are you just standing in the square and watching a show? Or are you actively saying, hey, that was something really insightful, and start a conversation with someone? Basically, think of it, you're at a party, right? You want to stand in the corner and just keep watching stuff, then no one's, and so then the vibe of the party is not going to come your way, right? If you want active engagement with yourself, and vice versa, etc., you need to engage with the party as well, and that's through comments. So with your profile, we have 9 minutes now. I'm going to run through these. Searchable, clickable, approachable. Optimize your headline. Choose to spotlight posts and videos. Skills, recommendations, endorsements are great to have uh, on your profile. That gets a lot of engagement. Post things that encourage a response. Share your knowledge or advice. Hashtags, don't, in the body, don't put hashtags, and don't put like 15 hashtags. It really, again, it deprioritizes the post. Some set of insights around leads or more meetings. So feature testimonials, case studies, and relevant content in your profile to demonstrate credibility, right? Ensure your LinkedIn profile speaks directly to your ICP's needs. Whoever it is that you're talking to, whether you're as a mentor, as a coach, or looking to sell something, make sure that whatever it is that you're showing up in your profile services them. Focus on sharing solution insights, engage with the ICP on a bunch of other platforms as well before jumping into a sale. The worst thing that you can do right now is you connect with someone and you say, hey, this is the offering that I have. That's no different than walking into a store and then seeing the guy, sir, would you like to buy something? And then you said no. And then you walk 10 steps and said, sir, and we just spoke 5 seconds ago. It's literally like that. If you're pushing out messages where you're saying that, hey, this is, hello, nice to connect with you, this is what I do, this is what I can do for you, you're not going to get a response. It's very unlikely that you get a response, and people sort of ignore a lot of that stuff. So build rapport by being genuinely helpful. Monitor signals like leadership changes, team dynamics. Sales Navigator is a great tool to track some of these. Virtual roundtables are fantastic. Basically, you find a specific set of people through account-based marketing, reach out to them, get signups, and that provides value, and learn about your ICP's pain points, right? You can learn about your ICP's pain points, then create content based on that outside. Of course, keeping privacy in mind. Collaborate with industry influencers. Don't be afraid to reach out to people who have many, many more followers. If you have something interesting to say, they'll be more than happy to sort of chat with you. Always ask for feedback to build trust and position yourself as an expert. I was in a conversation not too long ago where this person said, if you ask for money, they will give you feedback. If you ask for feedback, eventually they will give you money, right? The point is that you want to come across as someone, not come across, you can't game this. You're creating something of value. Ask them, hey, what do you think about this? You're someone that I would eventually send this out to. I'd love to know what your input is on this, right? And that starts a conversation again. Notes from past webinars. Once you gain their trust, it's easier to move to sale. Use tools to track website visitors and reverse engineer LinkedIn profiles for retargeting. Tap into emotion. People buy based on emotion, not logic, not just logic. So a couple of quick tools. If you have 5 minutes to go and 6 slides, I'm not doing so bad. So Sales Navigator is great to create lead lists. So every time you then get to know if someone has posted something, if there's been a job change, and you can create leads specific to individuals as also companies, so you know what changes are necessarily happening over there. Main thing is that you sort of engage with the content. Vedexy is a great platform where you can automate a lot of your list building, automate outreach in terms of new connection building, engaging with existing connections that you have. If there is an event and there are maybe 500 people who have signed up for that event, you can then take the people who have signed up on that particular event page and create a lead list from that. Quite often, people, even down to the extent of when people are engaging on a particular post, right? You can take the URL of that post, put it in, and you can extract all the people who have engaged with that post if they are your ideal ICP. Phantom Buster also does that, but Phantom Buster does it, amped it up significantly higher. Fibbler is a platform that gives you tremendous insight about your ads performance, the impressions it's had across specific campaigns, and you can then bring it down to attributing to when across a specific timeline. Also, you can extract that as CSV data and see across the timeline, and then cross-verify that against your CRM. And Crystal Notes is a great platform. It's a Chrome extension where you can, let's say I'm selling to Dhananjay, right? And he is, I want to start a conversation with the CEO of this big company. Crystal Notes is a Chrome extension. It'll show up on the right-hand side, and it'll give me nuances of what kind of personality type Dhananjay is. How should I necessarily, what does he engage with by, what's the best way to speak to him on chat, on email, on the phone, etc. What signals what should I do, should not do, etc. So these are a couple of great tools to sort of keep in mind. Last couple of things. I have 3 minutes. Only reposting is doing very little for your brand. I've mentioned this already. If you have to repost, 70% is original content and only 20-30% of reposts, right? Comment, that will do significantly more. Considered commenting, 20 words, 2 sentences. Someone has said something, don't copy that and put that in ChatGPT, rehash and put it back over there. Spend time engaging with it. Yes, and that's something that is from improv, where you can say, I agree, okay, that's interesting, yes, and this is my perspective on it, right? And people can tell. With DMs also, don't piss people off. First engage with their profile skills, comment. Like, it's not about you, it's about them. Acknowledge their business event, something personal to build a bridge. Connect with them same as you would when meeting someone in person for the first time. About commenting, one thing that I read somewhere, when you're commenting, comment as if you are being quoted on live television, right? Then you'll sort of think about that, right? So 90 180 day approach. In the first month, have clarity on your narrative, pick one format, consistency in posting. 3 months, experiment with 3 or 4 formats, clarity and engagement. 6 months, posting 3 times a week, 5 plus comments daily on other posts, right? There's a simple plan that you can sort of take forward. I have exactly 2 minutes, and I don't know if there's time for questions. You know what? If you have questions, put them in the comments any which way, because it'll be in the thread, and I will be able to answer them. And I can get back to you as well. Like I said, you can DM me as well. And if you would like to know more about how to engage with us, again, sort of drop me a line. We are 1 minute 1 minute away, and yeah, maybe that's some of the details. If you want to book a meeting, want to get to know more about some of the stuff that we do, or you just want some feedback on your profile, you'll find the book a meeting, book clarity call link on my profile. But I think I've done well with time. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, this morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you for joining. Next week we have branding for executive search with Lauren Lotka. It's on the 27th of March. Like I said, the same start time as today. Lauren has been repeatedly over the last 5 years been listed as one of the top 15 global executive search agencies and individuals. She's been profiled, on multiple platforms. It's going to be a great conversation. So I do these LinkedIn Lives every week in service of leaders, founders who want to bring clarity to their personal narrative or create a revenue generating personal brand. Thank you very much for joining me. See you very soon. See you next week. Bye bye.